Welcome to another episode of Living Under New Mexico Skies, brought to you by Parnall Law. In this episode, we meet Gene Cunningham, an attorney at Parnall Law. You know, going in, I knew Gene was a big computer gamer, and he put some interesting perspectives on this during our conversation. Gamers often share strong cognitive and psychological traits, and it's my estimation that Gene has above-average problem-solving skills that'll serve his Parnall Law clients well. But hang on to the end of this conversation when Gene reveals what he'd be doing if he wasn't an attorney. This guy's got a lot of heart. Hey, Gene, welcome to Living Under New Mexico Skies, man. It's great to have you.
It's good to be here.
Hey, you know, we always start with, tell us a little something about yourself. What's something that, you know, that you want people to know about Gene Cunningham?
Well, I'm a huge gamer. My whole life started with the PlayStation 2, and now I'm mostly on PC nowadays.
Interesting. Well, we'll get to that in a second because I want to cover that subject because I have some thoughts and questions for you. But, all right, so grew up Central Coast, Florida, man. What was that like? What was it like as a kid to grow up in Florida?
Well, we were 2 hours away from the theme parks. The coast was, you got to go fishing all the time, and the more rural parts was a lot of rednecks and people like that. So you had the best of both worlds, I guess, and very hot and humid too.
So you're used to the heat here. No humidity here, but you're used to the heat, probably.
The heat's fine. I do miss a little bit of moisture. You know, my skin dries out a little bit. I'm not used to that. Florida. Yeah, 15% humidity sometimes. So, all right. So, poli-sci undergrad. Tell us about that. Yeah. So I chose political science. Quite honestly, there were two reasons. One, I wanted to become a politician one day. You know, way in the future.
Yeah.
And part of that's, law school. And I was like, well, let's pick a degree that kind of does both.
Okay.
So poli-sci. And poli-sci was also one of the easier degrees. It ended up not being the truth, but it was still a great time.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the political future, that's interesting. And we'll discuss that at some point. So all right, so now JD, you decide you're going to get your JD, and you went to Indiana, I guess, to the state of Indiana.
Yeah, so I applied to a bunch of law schools. Indiana actually reached out to me to ask for an application, and I had a brother up there. They gave me a full tuition scholarship, and of the schools that did that, they had the best career prospects. So I went to Indiana.
Wow, and the experience was good? You had a good time?
Yeah, it was good. It was, law school is very cliquey, but everyone's adults. So it was a great time.
Okay, good. Then something I saw in your bio that really caught my attention, I think, and we'll talk about this, how it kind of pivoted to your current role here at Parnall Law, is Indiana Department of Child Services. And I know this is heavy, man. But I applaud you, for taking this on. But I saw that, and I want to get this right, I spent almost every day in court fighting to protect children from neglect and abuse.
Yeah, so I was an intern with the Indiana Department of Child Services. Same thing as CYFD here. They hired me on as an attorney, and my main job was to be in court 2-3 days a week.
Wow.
Either rescuing kids from dangerous situations or terminating parental rights when the parents have had years to fix their situation and they still can't not hurt the kids.
It's got to be heavy, man. I mean, I've done some social service work. That's tough when you go home at night. It really is.
Yeah.
It can wear on you. So, well, now you're here at Parnall Law, and I guess the line I like to use is, and now you're fighting for justice. Different type of client, but kind of doing the same thing.
Well, I was fighting for justice there and here. People are wrongfully hurt everywhere.
Right.
And this opportunity came up, and it's been the best time of my life so far.
Wow. So. I'm glad to hear that. Well, you and your wife, now you're relatively new here. How's New Mexico going for you, man? How's it been here being a new citizen of New Mexico?
The people here are very welcoming. The food is wonderful. Red or green, I always do Christmas.
Yep.
Maybe I should try picking one side, but I just like them both when I have New Mexican food. I'm a huge fan of carne asada.
Nice.
Sunsets are gorgeous. It's nice not having rain every other day.
Yeah.
Wish we had a little bit more, especially now with how dry the river is.
Yeah.
But it's nice driving on dry roads all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Your commute, man. How's that going? Now, I know you drive some wheels, man. Is it a Charger?
It's a Challenger from
Challenger.
17. So
there
it's the last year you didn't need a backup camera.
Yeah. Nice. But how's the commute going? Because I know you got 30 minutes each way. So.
Well, it's 27 minutes in the morning. I leave the house probably around 7:10, get here, 27, 30 minutes afterwards. Yeah. Then on the way home, it's about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on if anyone, if there were any collisions or if it was raining that day. But it's a lot longer to get home.
I've noticed. I know approximately the area you're at, and I know that those key arteries that get over the river, and that can be a pain. I know you got 40, you've got several others that kind of go over. So
I get stuck on Paseo probably 2 or 3 times a month.
Oh my God. All right, so you talked about gaming at the beginning, but let's dive into this, man. I know that you're a gamer, and so I have to ask. My generation, it was Risk. It was, Dungeons and Dragons. Before the very first, I had a Commodore 64 with Telengard and Jumpman. So did you start with board games, or I know you play chess because I've seen the chessboard in your office.
No, I'm mostly a video gamer. I do love board games.
Right,
I think my favorite one's got to be Catan.
Yeah,
that's a resource management game, and you're competing with other players. And but as far as video games go, I have a wide taste. Anything from combat games, map games where you conquer other countries. One game I've been in played recently is Factorio, and that's a game about streamlining processes and trying to solve a problem at the end. And I also have some YouTube videos on Kerbal Space Program.
Yes, I asked you about that. Now this is interesting, man. My generation, we played Risk. I'm not a gamer, but this is a kind of the irony of it. I actually helped launch The Division, but after the theme of Tom Clancy novel, and you did it with Ubisoft, and it was kind of weird for a guy not to know anything about gaming, and they tried to get me to try some things. I was like, So what is it about gaming that attracts you? I mean, what is it? Problem solving? Is it strategy? What is it? Is it just sheer enjoyment?
Well, games like Factorio or City Builders, and I know those are niche games, is that there's a lot of problem solving,
right?
And there's a positive feedback loop, and that can be quite addicting almost. But for the games that aren't that way, such as the combat games like The Division or Escape from Tarkov, my brothers are in other states, so I get to play online and kind of hang out with my family when I wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
It's an interesting story. My son, and I asked him just for this interview, I said, well, when did you start again? He says, I was 5, it was PS1. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God. But one birthday party, they wanted to go to this place. It was actually here in Albuquerque. It was like one of those communal gaming. They had the couches, big screens. So him and his buddies sat down. I forget what that World of Warcraft or something. They started playing, and they're getting killed. And I hear one of the kids go, "You can't do that. A man can't fly through." And they're going cheat codes. So I walk over to the owner of the place. I'm talking to him. I go, "Boy, they're getting kind of bummed out." He goes, chances are they're playing against off-duty Russian soldiers who are sitting in their barracks somewhere, getting online and playing. And they were getting creamed. I laughed because the party was over. They're like, "All right, let's go home, Dad." They were so bummed out about the whole idea of playing against people they have no. And I think South Park even parodied that once in one of their episodes. That was a good one.
I know the episode you're talking about.
Yeah. So pretty funny. So I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to actually read this, but in your Kerbal Space Program, I love this. It requires a mix of rocket engineering, orbital mechanics, and financial management. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, in high school, I was a part of an engineering program called Project Lead the Way.
Interesting.
And so I'm a math guy, logically based sort of thing, and having to solve those problems. There were times in high school and even in undergrad where I'll do the math by hand on the orbits or on the delta V and stuff like that.
That's really cool. So, all right, so that plays into my next question, which is, problem-solving strategy. That's got to be something helpful with what you're doing now as an attorney. Figuring out kind of, things, cases, trying to figure out fault and everything in the business of what you do as a personal injury attorney.
I feel like the resolution of every problem is like a pyramid, and that resolution is the tip of it.
Yeah.
And you have all these other sub-steps that are, going down, collecting evidence, thinking of case plans, talking to clients, and so on. And it's a pyramid that builds up to that final resolution. I think games like Kerbal Space Program or Factorio sort of have that same architecture really cool. of problem solving.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I know that it's also, you mentioned the team thing. I know you work with our investigators, you've got everyone there to help you. To kind of help gather all the data that you need, data points, almost like when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
All right, now the other game I have to ask about, and dude, I know nothing about this, but someone mentioned that you love Magic: The Gathering.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I actually teased people that played Magic: The Gathering. It's like, oh, that's too nerdy for me. And then I got invited to play it one time, and now I am very nerdy. I have probably 10 or 20,000 cards.
My God.
But the format I play is called Commander, so it's a 3 to 5 player format. So it's a very social thing, and everyone builds their own decks, their own styles, and really they're all trying to solve different problems different ways.
That's interesting.
Against each other, and also interacting with people.
Again, I just keep coming back to, and this is why I was excited to talk to you, is I think it's the perfect analogy for what you're doing now as an attorney, because you keep mentioning, strategic thinking, problem solving, team. It's all about that sense of working together. That's pretty cool. So,
well, as far as teamwork goes, when I play with my brothers online, we're not playing against each other. We are playing as like a part of a squad.
That's really cool.
And that requires a lot of communication. I'm over here by yellow. I'm over here by blue. Or what have you. Oh, that's me. Don't shoot that way.
Don't shoot at me. I'm a good
snap!
guy.
You should have made a better call out. Sorry.
That's really cool. Yeah, I know Carl, our producer, actually plays Magic with you, I guess.
Yeah, we've played a few times.
Yeah. I heard you guys talking one day. I had no idea what the hell you were talking about. You were talking about cards and things. I'm just going, I thought maybe Pokemon cards. I'm like, no.
No.
So okay. So there you are now as an attorney. You and your wife have moved here, loving New Mexico, loving Parnall Law, loving what you're doing. So what do you see coming in your future? I mean, I know you're working up, doing your thing, climbing the ladder there in the whole legal profession. So see yourself, sticking with the whole personal injury area for now?
Yeah, I plan on being here for quite some time.
Good.
I'm a new attorney. I'm learning all the time. I want to help more people.
Yeah.
I want to go to court. That'd be nice to really fight for someone, because these insurance adjusters really don't give you a lot of credit until you make them.
That's interesting. Yeah, the court thing would be really interesting. Yeah, and that would be, again, almost like gaming. I mean, you're going to have that ability to on the spot.
Well, you have to go in with a mountain of evidence. Is that pyramid I was talking about, and that resolution is the very tip top.
Yeah, and political future, possibly politician down the road.
That's a very distant future. I mean,
you got a long time.
It's kind of like when you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, and it's like 10 or 20 years, and so many different things can happen. I mean, ultimately you have to do an opportunity cost analysis, things like that, and nowadays, safety analysis and things like that. So,
well, civilization moves to Mars, my friend. You could be a governor of Mars with your Kerbal experience. So I want to mine just a little bit more in the whole case thing. Any examples or any case, and I know we can't talk can't get too specific, but anything where you really felt like there was some problem solving and some team playing and some, kind of some strategy you had to apply to something, maybe with a finding or a settlement that you went, wow, anything, auto maybe collision or something where you had to piece together disparate pieces that maybe at face value some other firm or some other attorney may have passed on it and said, I just don't see it here. I don't see the resolution.
What I will say is that with my experience doing the math in Kerbal Space Program or Factorio, and me being a nerd as far as math and science goes, I mean, I did a physics class with calculus in undergrad, even though I was a poli-sci major. But with some of my demand letters, if the adjusters are telling us that the other person wasn't speeding or they were doing something wrong, I will go in and find the equations for skid marks, conservation of momentum, stuff like that. I'm not an expert, like a reconstruction or anything, but it has convinced some adjusters to see where I'm coming from, that their insured was speeding,
that's cool.
And that speed hurt my client. For example, if someone's going 40% over the speed limit,
right.
if the speed limit's 50 and they're going 70, that's twice the kinetic energy. That's twice the injuries.
Yes.
So.
Well, two of our prior guests, this is interesting, as long as we're on this topic, one was a professor from UNM who is an expert on highways, constructing highways. He said something interesting. He said that anytime you see a speed sign, the road's actually been designed to go twice as fast. So in theory. But that doesn't mean you should. I mean, but it's interesting how people seem to want to push that,
So the reason that is that city planners, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, they thought wide roads were safer roads. And that is not the case, because wider roads encourage people to speed more.
Interesting.
I don't know if they're designed for twice the speed.
Right.
But speed kills. Like I said, if you're going
if
you're going twice the speed, that's 4 times likely to kill somebody.
Energy, yeah.
But if you build narrower roads or roads with more visual crowding, almost like trees on this side, people are encouraged to drive slower. That's why on a winding road or like a canopied road, people are usually safer as far as their speed goes.
That's interesting. Versus a racetrack approach where they're like, hey, I can open this up.
Well, I mean, a lot of the roads in our communities, they're like 100 feet wide or something like that.
Especially your drive every day. I've seen the bridges, Alameda and some of the others over the river. There's a lot. Plus, there's a lot of, as a friend of mine used to say, a lot of malarkey going on with passing, lane changing. You can see it. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a NASCAR race when they're kind of, jockeying for position, getting ready for that moment to hit it and pass.
The amount of people without license plates here, or without licenses, and what I've seen on the road.
Thank you.
Like, some of these, and there are other drivers on the road. It feels like they're playing like Grand Theft Auto or something. I've seen people, cut across 3 cars, run a red light.
Yeah. I have.
And it's just crazy. It's like I'm watching a streamer online or something.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, this is interesting too. Another prior guest was our investigator, Rick Inglada, who made the same point. He's into physics. So it's interesting, you too, because he goes, I've nerded out on physics for years. He goes, and I love it. He goes, because it helps me every day in what I do for a living. So that's pretty cool, man.
I remember the one time I worked with you guys, the marketing team, to find a program to splice a video frame by frame, so I can measure the length of a car by looking up a stat online, and count the frames for that car to move 1 or 2 car lengths, and then you get a speed.
Isn't that cool?
It is.
It is. No, this is the future. Especially, some people have dash cams, and that's helping a little bit. But I think, the bulk, the majority, no. And you're right. A lot of times it's.
Dash cams help a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like a present.
That's why we give them away at settlement.
Yeah.
It's a great idea as a parting gift, is to say, here, put this in your vehicle, please. So.
How much are those dash cams that we?
I'll be honest with you, I don't have an exact dollar amount, but they're not that expensive. So, so we basically, given this business and the importance of data and evidence, we've started giving them out, and it's pretty popular. People love them. So.
Well, these newer cars are having cameras everywhere, so eventually dash cams will be obsolete because they'll just be built in.
Yeah. So, Gene, this has been fun, man. I guess what I love to do with every guest is ask, if you weren't an attorney, what would you be doing? And don't worry about it as a profession. I mean, some people say, I'd be climbing mountains, or I'd be fishing, or what would you be doing if you weren't an attorney?
So I know this is more of a passion question, so I'm going to remove money from the equation because... that's important for everybody.
Yeah.
Before I went to law school, I had a brief stint as a substitute teacher down in Florida at a charter school.
Wow.
And the amount of fulfillment I got from teaching, kids different lessons and, being there for them. I remember one time I was covering an art class, and these like 2nd and 3rd graders, I don't have any kids yet, they drew me little pictures after they'd done their assignment, and it almost made me cry because it was just so... It's like, I don't deserve this yet. I don't have my own kids. And it was very, very fulfilling. I still have some of their pictures.
That's cool. I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and I drew a picture of my teacher that wasn't very flattering. And during parent-teacher conference, she pulled it out. Yeah, it was great. I to this day, I can kind of vaguely remember. I didn't do it to be malicious, but I remember just going, "Uh-oh." No, okay. So I have to ask a question then. Any thoughts of ever becoming a prof in a law school? Oof. Or do you have more of that drive or that sense of wanting to do it with younger students?
I think the earlier involved in someone's life, the more you can affect its trajectory. True. It's sort of that compounding interest sort of thing.
Yeah.
Law school would be really cool, and you get to impact those people's careers.
Yeah.
But if it was, I'd rather be a lawyer than a professor.
Got it. Okay.
Because then you're in the weeds. You get to fight for people.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't a lawyer, wasn't in the legal profession, definitely like a middle school, high school teacher.
Just think you could also bring gaming in with the kids. That would be fun.
They definitely when they heard I was a gamer, they would be excited to ask about it.
Oh yeah,
I filtered a little bit.
I was. I've known nothing. It was so fun. Well, Gene, really, man, appreciate it. This was excellent, and we will have you back on, man. Maybe when some of these cases come to fruition, we can actually let you put some of that problem solving and maybe even some physics to the task.
Well, we need to get some releases. That's
yes.
Sure.
Oh yeah. We'll look at that down the road. But thanks, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you
very much.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.